Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you all for today's webinar. And we will be talking about creativity, curiosity, improvisation with John Cremer. So, John, welcome.
Thank you, Didem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. How are you? And where are you, John?
I am in England. I am in the countryside. It's green and quiet, which is good.
Great.
Yeah.
What a reflection time, and yes.
Yeah.
Great. Welcome, John. So we are celebrating our 25th anniversary in HR conference, and this year our theme is agile or fragile. So agility in this certain times, in these challenging times, will be one of the top themes of our conference. And the conference will be in 10th and 11th of November. So we are really looking forward to meet you in person here and to have you here and to connect you with our participants. And believe me, improvisation is maybe one of my development areas. So I'm also trying to learn, and I'm sure I will learn a lot from you, and we will have a good discussion with you. So my question is, what is the secrets of the art of the improvisation? And maybe how HR people can benefit out of it?
Improvisation is a set of skills, some simple techniques, and those techniques help us to be more present in the moment, to be really here in the here and now, so we are able to respond to what is actually happening. We always make plans. Because we're humans, we make plans. We make a plan that is 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 years. We always make these plans. And then reality and the plan are very often different. Improvisation is a way that we can go from the plan to reality without freaking out, without collapsing or being scared or angry. Yes. So it's simple techniques.
Yeah. So it reminded me the Gestalt psychology, maybe being here and now and really being focused on what is going on and to respond accordingly. But of course, our heads are always maybe looking to the future and planning, and it yes. should be like an anxiety, and people should be having that such a maybe stressful times between that yes. reality and the plan. And you say the skills are there, the improvisation skills are there to help and enable people.
The first skill, and for me the most important skill of improvising, is something that for many people is a surprise, because people think to improvise you must think quickly, you must speak quickly, you must react quickly. And from my experience, the most important technique is actually to listen. Because when we listen, something interesting happens. First thing is we connect to ourselves. So when we listen, we can only listen to what is happening now. We cannot listen to the past. We cannot listen to the future. And the more we focus on listening, the more we have our present moment experience. When we listen, we also connect to other people. We connect to the people around us. We connect to the reality of the moment. So we are more engaged. We are more here with ourselves and with other people and with our environment. So listening is the first fundamental technique.
And most of the time when I'm also working with leaders, I see they are much more result oriented and trying to maybe focus on the result as soon as possible. And they think they know best. So I also connected with leadership in terms of listening skills. It's maybe today's, this challenging times, one key area, one key skill that needs to be maybe perfect, maybe rethink our listening skills and trying to really be assessing ourselves. How are we listening and how are we responding?
So right now, I mean, it's always the situation, but right now the situation is very obvious. The whole world is improvising. So we had a plan in June, Istanbul, HR summit. Everything was set, and then pandemic.
Yes.
So suddenly everything that anyone tries to plan is completely changed.
Okay.
And I personally believe that we are moving as people from trying to control everything to actually responding to what is happening.
Yes.
And that's very difficult for many people. And at the same time, it opens possibilities. It opens new ways to experience life and to experience business. Businesses are changing so quickly. And people have to change to keep up with the change. And if we keep trying to make things be the way we want them, we just get stressed. So we can be stressed or we can be excited. We can be collapsed or we can be open and creative. It's our choice.
Yes, yes. For the last 2, maybe 3 years, organizations, in most of the organization strategy, agility was one of the key, let's say, future aspiration that leaders and organizations and HR was working on. And many industries, many companies already are experimenting this agile structures, the way of working. So how do you link the improvisation and agility, John?
Okay, wonderful question. The second technique, we didn't plan this conversation, but it's interesting that this is almost, it looks like we planned this. The second technique of improvisation is something, again, it's quite different from typical ways of being, typical behavior. The second technique is to say yes to what is happening. Even if you don't like it, you don't believe it, you think you have a better idea, you say yes to what is happening. So if I am improvising, let's say, because I also perform, I improvise with performers. If I am improvising and we ask the audience for an idea, we say, where are we? If they say you are inside a pyramid, we say yes to that idea. We don't say, no, I have a better idea. We say yes to whatever we're given. When we do this, we are agile, because when we say yes, we're open. We're open to what is happening. We are not trying to close or control. So the listening to what comes, saying yes to what comes, just as an experiment, just temporarily, just to explore.
Very interesting. It also reminded me not to maybe connect and get in love with our ideas and what we want to do. And yes, maybe give space, give room to the unknown and to dialogue with what is possible, what is invisible, but also what is possible.
Didem, it's so, what you're saying is so interesting, to be in love with our ideas. I love that phrase, because everyone is in love with their ideas. Everyone believes their ideas are great, wonderful, the best. And what can happen is we fall into the trap of competition. My idea is better than your idea. My idea is better than the team's idea. And when we have competition, again, we close. We can win or lose. It's just two choices. When we collaborate, when we work together, I have an idea, you have an idea. Maybe the best idea is 10% of my idea, 90% of your idea. Wow, how exciting. But we both have to let go a little bit.
Yes, I agree. I agree. So I just want to remind to our participants who are listening and maybe watching us is if you have any questions to John, you can definitely use Q&A and chat box. And our team is also following YouTube. So if you have any questions, please ask, throw them, and we will have some space for your questions also.
You know we will listen to them. We've talked so much about listening that now we have to listen to your questions.
Yes, exactly. So you gave two tips already. One is listening skills, and the other is saying yes to the other. So I just want to come to one of the maybe dilemmas that again organizations and HR are facing, which is in agility, we say, I mean, we need to experiment and we need to be open to failures. And giving space and when empowering people when they make mistakes, we need to maybe behave differently. And I see many leaders are struggling because I think we are coming from perfectionist, let's say, decades. So we want to be perfect and everything needs to be maybe successful. That's why we may have struggles about the mistakes. So how can improvisation help us, enable us for the mistakes part?
Okay, so mistakes for me is again a rich area. Now I'm going to take a little journey somewhere different, but it will come back. Unfortunately, we went to school, we were educated, and the education process is a process where we are given information and we are tested, and there is a right answer and a wrong answer. When we give the wrong answer at school, we feel ashamed, we feel bad, and we are afraid to give the wrong answer. So we are afraid to make mistakes. And when organizations have a blame culture, when something doesn't work and they want to find the person who was wrong, but yeah, punish who did this, who had this idea, let's punish that person. This does not improve things. This does not make anything better. Now, I worked with a company and they had such an experience with improvisation that they created a process. Every Friday, they celebrate mistakes. So every Friday, whoever made a mistake stands in front and says, "This is the mistake I made this week." And everyone applauds. Woo, great mistake, great mistake. What is interesting is in another organization, if I make a mistake and I'm afraid to be punished, I hide the mistake, right? I hide the mistake. Next week, someone else makes the same mistake and they hide the mistake. So many people are making the same mistake. If I stand up and say, "Here's my mistake," everyone learns. Everyone learns from my mistake, so no one has to make that mistake. And if someone makes that mistake, they get to say, "I made the same mistake, and here's what happened." So we can create an environment where mistakes are celebrated, where we learn from mistakes. And if an organization is not making mistakes, if a person is not making mistakes, they are repeating what they already know, they're not learning, they're not stretching, and they are not responding to a world that is changing faster than ever. So we to celebrate mistakes.
Yes.
And let me draw you a picture. Didem, if you and I step into a boxing ring, yeah? We put on boxing gloves, yeah?
Yes.
And you punch me, okay? That's what happens in a boxing ring.
Yes.
Outside a boxing ring, if you punch me, you're in trouble. You know, maybe the police come.
Yes.
So can an organization have a boxing ring, have a place where people talk about mistakes? And you understand that that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's like a boxing ring. It's a mistake area.
Yeah.
Here are the mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it is like maybe rethinking the boundaries of, or the definition of mistakes. And I think with the pandemic, of course, as you mentioned, the future is unknown, and there will be many things that we will, I mean, just improvise and, I mean, experiment and see the results. And most of the times, it will not be maybe the right thing, always the right thing, and we will have mistakes. I think this let's say zeitgeist is also will be enabling to have the mistakes and maybe come together, create a learning opportunity out of it, and not to make the second time, or maybe experiment another thing for the next time.
Sure. And also with the pandemic, so many times people are saying, oh, when will things go back to normal? What is the new normal? There is no normal now. There will not be a normal.
Yes, I agree.
And if we aren't flexible, if we aren't agile, then we create misery and stress.
Yes, I agree. Let's see. So I know that you have a book, and the book's name is The Art of Reading People. So how you read people? So we already shared one of your videos within our I mean network, and it was really interesting, and I remember the warrior tip. But, I'm not maybe ask you to go through all these, and there will be a workshop around this topic at the conference. But what is the big idea about the art of reading people?
Okay, the big idea is something that is unlike other systems. So I'm sure in the world of HR, you have heard about Myers-Briggs, Belbin, DISC, color preferences. There's many systems.
Yes, we are also using Insights Discovery.
Insights Discovery.
Yes.
What I work with is a system that looks purely at the hardware of people. So the idea is that each one of us has a vehicle, has a physical body, and there are just certain types. There are 6 types of vehicle. And if you stand by a road and you look at the traffic and you say, that's a Porsche, that's a Land Rover, that's a Volkswagen, you can see what kind of vehicle is driving by. I do the same thing with people. So I look at the vehicle that people are driving. I look at the hardware. It doesn't tell you everything about someone, but it tells you enough that you can really create rich relationships.
Let's improvise. So what is my vehicle? We didn't.
I should have expected that, but I didn't. So you've put me on the spot. So your vehicle is what's known as the Mercury type, and Mercury is the god of communication. And Mercury types, like yourself, tend to have good cheekbones, big brown eyes, and a good smile.
Oh, so thank you. Great. And
one thing that's different, each type has different strengths. And the strength of a Mercury type is the ability to think more quickly than any other type. So it is natural for you to think very quickly, and also an ability to make connections, to process information and connect much more quickly than my type. I'm very slow to make connections. I'm very literal. So I always admire the ways that Mercury people can inspire people.
Okay, I am getting curious. I'm curious. So Mercury, so it is about the appearance that you have. I mean, yes, yeah. They define, and some qualities, some maybe gifts, qualities that those kind of people bring in interacting with others. Great. Yes. So if you are curious about the art of reading people, so we will have a workshop at the conference, a 1-hour workshop with John Cremer, so that you will be able to maybe understand and also implement the 6 parts.
During the workshop, it will be a little bit of theory. There will be some theory, just enough, but we will also find people in the audience. We will have examples in the audience, so we will actually see this for real.
Great, experiment. Yeah. Okay, so on 10th and 11th of November with Agile and Fragile team, we will be meeting with you with the team, with your topic is ImproAgility. So what is your teaser for our participants? So what will be some highlights of your topic in your 20 minutes keynotes at the conference?
In the keynote, it's 20 minutes. I'm only going to be doing 5 minutes. 5 minutes will be me. 15 minutes will be 2,000 people having an experience, many experiences of improvising. And what will happen in that 20 minutes is the energy level in the room will go from here to here. There will be laughter. People will laugh so much that actually, if you are going to wear makeup, don't put on too much makeup because people will be crying with laughter. There will be more laughter, more noise, more energy, more creativity in those 20 minutes than you have seen in a long time. So that's what to expect in that keynote.
Great.
And
yes,
and not just the experience, but the learning to actually experience the listening and the saying yes is something that will really stay with people.
Great. We are very excited and curious about what we will be expecting us. So I'm just looking at if there are any questions and answer so that we can respond and answer them. So if you have any questions, this is the time for questions, and we will be waiting for your questions to answer them with John Cremer. So I will just wait maybe 30 seconds and see if there will be. Oh, I see a question. So how we can influence our leaders in terms of really using improvise, because sometimes they are very serious. So how HR can maybe influence to use improvisation within the organizations if the leaders are really seemed very much serious, we are, having serious job here type of leaders?
That is a wonderful question. That is a wonderful question. And sometimes when I work with chief executives, I have a diagram, and the diagram is a circle, and it's a diagram about business. So business is important. Yes, business is important. Yeah. And because business is important, there's another circle which is serious. And you want business to be in between important and serious. There's a special place where the two circles meet, important and serious. And that place has a lot of energy and a lot of tension. Yeah. Unfortunately, many leaders are not aware that there is a third circle. And the third circle is funny. Because the more important something is, and the more seriously we take it, the funnier it is when we release that tension. Now, to bring this to the attention of a leader is a challenge because they are normally comfortable in the serious. I'm a leader. Look how serious I am. You know, look how serious I am. I have a colleague who has a wonderful phrase, and her name is Kate Hull Rogers. So I can tell you her phrase because it's hers, but I can use it.
Yes.
People who have more fun get more done.
Good.
If
Great.
you want people to be more productive, have them enjoy themselves more.
Yes.
And you can find studies around this. Also, at least 50% of US business schools, at least 50% of them have improvisation on the syllabus. Not as an option, it is part of the curriculum that people learn to improvise. So,
Great.
you know, if they want to seriously justify it, there's a way to seriously justify it with facts, numbers.
Yeah, great. So business and serious. So let's bring the funny part within the circle. So let's make 3 circles and yeah. Great. Thank you very much, John, for your time before the, let's say, the conference. And I enjoyed a lot. And I'm really curious to go deeper with this discussion. Hopefully when you are here in Istanbul, working and really discussing on these topics and try to find other possibilities with the power of improvisation. So thank you, John.
Thank you,
the last words are yours.
It's been my pleasure. I wish we had more time to talk, and we can only hope that in November we will be there in Istanbul together.
Yes, looking forward to it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank
See
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.